everyone, this is Debate here from PokerTube, and this is video 3 of the instructional videos, and in this one we're discussing a very important subject that's now gone fully live. This is the PokerStars opt-in changes. Now what I'm going to do here is show you all the information about the opt-in, how you can opt in, opt out, the benefits of opting in, but critically I'm going to show you some very useful tips and tricks of how you can still get a wealth of information using SharkScope even on those people that have blocked themselves or have not opted in yet. So hold on to that thought. I've got a load here to show you, and I think you're going to be very pleased when you see this. Now, just so you know, I want to mention this very briefly, is PokerStars have requested SharkScope do this, okay? All they're doing, in my opinion, is looking after their customers, which makes a lot of sense. So if you don't want your stats out there, all of them won't show. If you do, it's not a problem. You can opt in, and I'm going to show you how this works. Now, what you do need to know is these changes will affect the SharkScope website and the SharkScope HUD, but once people have opted in, it means that all the tools are now fully permitted by PokerStars, even when the PokerStars client is running. That's very useful to know that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to Tournament Selector. I'm just looking at PokerStars events, and we're going to hit search here. And then I'm going to pull up at random an event here with enough people in it to look at. So let's look at this one here. We've got 7 in this one. And here they are. I'm going to hit all games. So this is live as we speak. And the data will pop up. So that last one timed out there. So I'm just bringing this up as a new one here so you can see this. So basically what you can see here is those people have opted in, and in this case we've got 2 people who have not opted in yet. Either they've not got around to doing it, or they don't know about what's happened, and obviously this is where this video comes into play. So what information are you missing when somebody is not opted in? Well, first of all, you're missing this profit history graph here. You're missing the average profit, the average ROI, and obviously whether it's a winning or a losing player. Now obviously that information is important, and if you want to improve your game, especially if you're looking at sit and goes and tournaments, depending on what buy-ins you're playing at, then this information does become very useful, because when you look at yourself, you can see all the graphs I've mentioned in previous videos. You can analyze which areas you're good at, which areas you're maybe not so strong at. So for example, $50 sit and goes may be just a wee bit out of your skill bracket at the moment in time. So dropping back maybe to $20 or whatever could be maybe more sensible until you've done the right homework to move up. And that's where all this information becomes very useful for yourself. But let's not forget here, we've got a wealth of information in front of our eyes right here, right now. Now, when I'm assessing somebody, and I've been using SharkScope for many years, one of the first things I'm looking at is how many games they've played. So, for example, if they've played a lot of games, for example, like this particular player here has got 118,000, you bet your bottom dollar this is a multi-tabler. That, in its own right, gives you information on that player. Genuinely, they're pretty good if they multi-table. If they're putting in that sort of volume, they've got a lot of experience. Doesn't mean they're good or a winning player, but it does mean they've got a lot of experience. Then what I'm looking at here, obviously, is on this side here, when it's on the ability section here, and this is key to assessing somebody, because if I'm looking for a snapshot decision on somebody, I'm looking, all right, do they play a lot of games? What's this ability factor? Of course the profit is important. Of course the ROI is important, but don't forget, that can be very deceptive. If somebody binks one tournament, for example, they could have a massive ROI and a nice big bit of profit here, but it may be just one event out of 3,000 games. Doesn't mean they're a winning player. So just bear that in mind. But this ability factor, this is very, very handy. And this is one of the things I've personally used in the past. Now let's look at this in a bit more detail. This is basically based, right, on a combination of factors to rate this player. But it's key with regards to the average stake. So what I'm meaning here, for example, is that depending on the stake you're playing at, that gives you a reasonable idea of the quality of the individual. So for example, it runs from 50 to 100, that's the range. So if you're looking at, for example, this player here, who we know is good, we can see that from his volume. So is these two. I mean, it's at 16,000, 118,000 games. Look at that, 162,000 up, 182,000 up. Look at the rating here, 94.83. So that gives you an idea of how good these players are. Okay, and then you just correlate that in relation to their average stake. Now let's move further down the chain here. And for example, let's look at this player here who's not opted in. We can see a little bit of current form, like we can see for everybody else. It gives a bit of an idea. But look, he's only at 56. Now the person at the bottom who's not opted in is only at 62. Now we know our winners are, look, they're all in the 80 bracket. All right, plus. And I generally assess somebody from about 75, 74 75 upwards. Don't get me wrong, 70 is okay, but it's not phenomenal. But at this level, 60-ish, I would be saying that's the type of person I'm thinking, right, well, I'm quite happy to play against him. I know he's not that strong. Definitely looking at playing that individual. And I'll adjust my play accordingly. So just by getting the game count and the ability rating with this current form chart, you've got a wealth of information straight away. Very handy to know that. And don't forget, if you're registering to events very quickly, then you've only got a few seconds sometimes to do this, and that snapshot information is just like perfect. Now, there's another very, very useful tool for basically helping you track people who have not been able to opt in yet or who have blocked themselves. So, for example, what I've done here is I've looked at a couple of players who I've played against in the past. Again, my volume's not high, but I've got one here that I know, Sherman, whose stats, there he is. You can see he's not opted in. And I got a player here who's completely blocked himself. Can you see that? QSJSKS. So I've got a blocked player, okay? And I've got somebody who's not opted in yet, as you can see here. Now, what this little feature does here, very handy, is if you go to configuration, personal player names, right? Once I add myself to this, I'm going to do this just now, so you can see this live as we're talking, and add that. That is me adding myself to the system. The system now knows and recognizes me. And what that means is that anybody I've played against in the past, even if they're blocked or not opted in, I will get all that information on them with regards to their ROI, their profit, on the games I've played against them. So if I've played 200 games, those 200 games, I will get the full data. None of it will be hidden. That is a very, very handy trick. So whilst I've just paused that, I'll bring this up. So I've just Sherman 99, it's typed in here. And look, sit and go versus me. There you go. I know I've played him 43 times, all right? And there's all the information. None of it's hidden. But if you look below, see the opt-in boxes, all right? Obviously, I don't get the rest of the 10,000 odd games, but the wars that I've played against him, I get all the information. And an average ability rating. Now, if I type in the same name here for QSJ as King Ace, remember I couldn't see a thing when I searched on him, and you'll notice that if you try and search a block player, you can't see a button. Well, guess what, people? There you go. I've played against him 26 times. There is his ability and rating against me. He's only 55. I mean, it is only a small number, but for you people that are doing a lot more volume than myself, remember, I'm a hobby player, so you guys and girls that are doing, 100, 200 sit and goes a day or whatever, you'll see that as a massively helpful tool. And, not to be underestimated. So block players you can find information on as long as you've played against them. And those people that have not opted in yet, same rule applies. So if I bring it back to this screen again and just bring it here for myself, remember I mentioned in the previous videos that you could actually edit the columns and you could put all this stuff in here? Well, got some very handy information for you here as well here. Most of these columns are unaffected, okay, by a person that's not opted in. So with a little bit of common sense, working through these sections here and thinking, well, which bits do I want, which bits do I not want, you can then get a wealth of information that's technically hidden on a player that's not opted in yet. So, for example, ones that I do know that work are average percentage of field beaten, the winning days, losing days, total number of cashes. And as I say, with a bit of common sense, you can still use this software to your significant advantage. Now, obviously, you need to know how to opt in and opt out. So very simple. When you see this option here on yourself, okay, you just click opt in if you want to opt in. And another screen will pop up. So if I can get that for you here in a second. This screen pops up here. Now, this is actually phenomenal in my opinion. I think it's extremely generous of SharkScope to do this. They want everybody to opt in. I believe you should opt in anyway. My own personal opinion is if you block your data, you can't see some very important information that's going to be beneficial to you in helping you improve your game. Now, if you're a hobby player and you're not really interested in it, then fair enough. You're not going to be doing a lot of volume, so hey-ho. But I've shown those regular players how to still get enough information on that player to make an informed decision on how good or bad that person is. But if you really want to improve your game, and let's be honest, who likes to give away money, then you really should be opting in to be able to get access to all the graphs and charts I've mentioned. So you can, as I say, target the areas that you're weak at and obviously exploit the areas that you're stronger at. However, as a little incentive, SharkScope have done this. Basically, they've got an opt-in promotion. That's the best way to describe it here. And if you opt in now, all right, basically you'll be put into a pot, and every week somebody will be pulled out of there by random, and they'll get a little prize icon. You can see here, there's information here. So it's every Sunday at midnight PST time, new prize icon, basically there it is, it will appear against the person's name. It'll be worth between $100 and $1,000. Okay, and it's purely done randomly, okay? Now, if you win, you have until the following Sunday to email, obviously, SharkScope. There's the information there to claim your prize, otherwise the prize is lost. I think that's pretty fair, don't you? All the prizes will be paid directly into the winning PokerStars account. Okay, very simple how to do this. To opt in, you transfer the funds 0.03 to SharkScope. Don't worry, they'll send it back to you within 5 days. It's their way of verifying that you definitely want to opt in, and it's also clear and transparent to PokerStars, because obviously both these organizations have got an agreement here, and this makes it proof positive that you want to be opted in. Okay, very simple. If for any reason you don't want to actually send them the money, then it says here, if you're unable to do this or you don't want to transfer the money, then just please email support@pokerstars.com and they will forward your opt-in out request onto there. Now for more details and discussions on this system, it says click here. So if I've already got this page up, so just click there. And everything I've talked about is here. There it is there, people. All the information about opting in, opting out if you want to opt out, obviously. The ability rating is there. That's the one I told you at the column at the end there. The versus me functionality about finding information against blocked players and those that have probably not got round to doing it yet. And obviously with this video coming out, I expect to see a lot more people opting in because it just makes a lot more sense to do so. And the last little thing I'd like to point out to everybody out there just now is that don't forget that this is only PokerStars that's got this opt-in agreement with SharkScope. Every other network out there is business as usual. So you think about it, iPoker, Party, all these organizations, it's business as usual. So just don't panic. It is purely PokerStars. And from what I've been led to believe from the SharkScope team, they've got over 150,000 people signed up already, and they're adding loads every single day. And with that little extra, I say, incentive there, I don't see any reason why anybody who's going to be playing poker regularly shouldn't be opting in. So on that merry note, people, I hope this information's been of use to yourself. If you've got any questions or queries, bear in mind at the end of this PokerStars opt-in changes, there is a forum section. I've already posted a comment on there. You can post your comments, questions or queries. The SharkScope team are obviously here to help you. But I think I've covered an awful lot of valuable information there, which will show you how you can use this software to your significant advantage. On that happy note, take care and good luck at the tables.